In this video, we'll talk about the personal benefits of minimalist living. As you can see from the previous chapter, there is a raft of benefits that are associated with adopting the minimalist lifestyle. However, a great many of those advantages are personal ones. When you commit to reducing the clutter in all aspects of your life, both physical and mental, you can experience many positive changes that can take your life to a new level of happiness and success. Understand yourself and your relationships better. Minimalist living helps you to develop a better understanding not only of what you really want, but also what you really need. When you know the value of each item in your life, you will appreciate each one more. In turn, when you know what's important, you'll develop a stronger sense of well-being that pervades throughout your life. You'll be able to focus on the most valuable aspects of your life, which will, necessarily, be those things that make you feel good. Minimalists have better relationships with those around them, and this, too, is an important personal benefit. Everyone needs to have a strong network of friends and family around them to be happy and content in their lives. One of the greatest dangers of the modern world is that people often struggle to forge and maintain positive relationships with those around them in the real world. Friends often feel sidelined because you're too strongly focused on other activities. Family members and partners may feel rejected because you're too committed to your job and trying to accrue more money so that you can buy more stuff, which the marketers and media tell you that you need to be happy and successful. With minimalist living, this becomes a problem of the past. You no longer feel obliged to acquire more and more items in pursuit of happiness. Instead, you can focus more on the things which really count and which have true value when it comes to finding personal happiness and satisfaction. People who have minimalist lifestyles free up a significant proportion of their time. When they no longer take on as much work, they can spend longer with their loved ones. When they own fewer items, they need to spend less time cleaning, tidying, and sorting them. It also means that they can stop taking pleasure in owning things and start taking pleasure in enjoying life's experiences instead. The quality time spent with a good friend, a child, a parent, or a partner is indefinitely more valuable to you than any amount of time spent working on household chores or in completing a task for your employer. You'll begin to recognize this as soon as you start getting rid of things that are unnecessary in your life. The minimalist lifestyle is also free from the excess pressures and stress that has become all too common in the modern world. Too many of us today struggle to accomplish all the tasks that are expected of us. We cannot possibly handle the mountain of work tasks that pile up on our desks daily. We cannot possibly fit in all the activities that we seem to think are so important for our well-being and for protecting the status that we believe we should maintain. When we free ourselves from those stresses and pressures, however, we find that we enjoy much greater physical and mental well-being. Stress is a serious problem in people of all ages today. Stress leads not only to a raft of serious mental health problems, but also to a variety of unpleasant medical conditions which can prove to be difficult to live with, or even life-threatening in a worst-case scenario. Without the pressure to keep up with the neighbors and to push yourself harder to achieve and accumulate, you'll enjoy a greater sense of peace, with less anxiety and depression ruining your life. As a result, you can live a happier, more positive, and more productive lifestyle that is truly worth living. In this video, we'll talk about how to embark on a minimalist lifestyle. If you've read this how-to guide so far and love the idea of what you've discovered, you might be wondering how you can embark on a minimalist lifestyle and reap all the benefits that it represents. There are no hard and fast rules about how to start living minimally. However, there's one thing to be aware of. It isn't something which you can achieve overnight. Most of us today have spent years accruing a lifetime of possessions. It would be unrealistic and unwelcome to even think about getting rid of them all in one fell swoop. When it comes to starting out with minimalism, it can feel very overwhelming. You may even be reading this in your living room, surrounded by a lifetime's worth of possessions, and wondering how you can ever get started with cutting them down to only the necessities and basics. The good news is that you can take your time. There's no need to rush into anything. In fact, adopting minimalist living can be a time-consuming process, and there's no need to worry about that or rush through it. Your top tips. Here are some top tips to help you launch your new, simpler way of living. Set an end goal. It's important to know what you want to achieve when you adopt a minimalist way of living. This will vary between individuals. While some people want to truly embrace minimalism to its fullest degree by cutting down their possessions to an absolute minimum and shedding the trappings of the 21st century completely, others are simply interested in cutting back on frivolities and to free up some space and time in their lives so they can enjoy themselves and have better overall well-being. Neither of these approaches is wrong, but you need to think about what really matters to you before you embark on the process. This will enable you to take a focused course of action that makes sense for your end goal. Set yourself a timeline. Once you're aware of what your end goals are in adopting a minimalist way of life, you need to set yourself a timeline to work through. When do you want to have completed the process of eliminating the clutter from your life? Again, there's no right or wrong answer to this question, and there's no need to feel pressured into rushing through the process. It's important, however, to set a timeline which is realistic for you. Set yourself small targets to work towards. For example, to declutter one room in your home every week, so that you can experience a positive sense of accomplishment every time you tick another item off your list. Try to speed up the process, and it'll only add more stress to your life and increase the risk of giving up at the first hurdle. Think about changing your home. The first changes that you can make will take place in the home. It's usually easier to start with physical clutter rather than mental or emotional clutter. Look around your house or apartment and determine how many of your existing possessions you want to keep and how many you'd prefer to get rid of. Start with one room, then move on to the next once you've finished. This will help you feel as if you're accomplishing something worthwhile. Run an objective eye over each space and think about how you can make changes. Are your counters covered in appliances? Are your bookcases overflowing? Are there toys on the floor which need to be picked up every time you vacuum? These are all possible areas for decluttering that, when cleared, will free up space and time. Begin decluttering. Once you've planned your strategy and determined the areas in your home which need to be focused on and decluttered, it's time to begin the physical process of getting rid of all the excess possessions and items that you no longer need, value, or want. It's important to acknowledge that this can be a difficult process. Not only is it hard to decide which items need to be eradicated, it's equally difficult to make the commitment to getting rid of them. We naturally want to hang on to the things that we have, even when we know deep inside that we neither want them nor need them. It's important to get over those feelings and push on with the process of decluttering. A cluttered home means a cluttered mind. And a cluttered mind cannot be truly appreciative of all the positive things that surround it every day. So, be brave and take the plunge. While the process may be a challenging one, it'll be well worth it afterwards. Reduce gradually over time. It's rarely a good idea to leap straight into eliminating all the clutter in one go. For some people, this would be practically impossible due to the sheer volume of possessions which would need to be dealt with. For others, the process is more of an emotional challenge. Taking the decision to get rid of the things that you've accumulated over time can be difficult, and you don't need to rush it. Start slowly. Start by getting rid of the items which you won't miss, then work up to weighing up the value of the more contentious items. Once you get into the habit of weighing up the importance of everything you own, it'll become second nature, and you'll find it becoming easier to take decisions about whether an item should be kept or removed from your life. Reuse and recycle. Although the minimalist approach involves getting rid of clutter that are of no value in your life, that doesn't mean that you should throw them away. In fact, that's contrary to the eco-friendly aspect of this kind of lifestyle. Reusing and recycling are two key components of minimalist living. Think about how each item that you own could be used for several purposes. Could an item be recycled and used for something else rather than thrown away if it isn't needed in its current form? Could someone you know benefit from your unwanted items? In this video, we'll discover about how to take a minimalist approach at work. While some people are under the impression that the minimalist lifestyle is all about the home, in fact, that couldn't be further from the truth. In order to truly embrace this way of living, you need to ensure that your approach pervades through every aspect of your life, including the workplace. It's only by doing this that you can reap all the maximum benefits. The problems of the workplace. The workplace is one of the areas of your life in which you can experience most stress. Mental clutter can be at its worst when you're sitting at your office desk, and the time pressures involved in your working life can only serve to compound the problems of the 21st century living that arise in other areas of your lifestyle. It's important to remember not to end your minimalizing efforts when you leave the front door of your home. Take the objective look at your working life and determine where cuts can be made to improve your mental and physical well-being and to adopt a more minimalist approach. Declutter your physical and mental workspace. Where do you begin with this? The first protocol could be to examine your desk and workspace. Is there physical clutter to get rid of? Are papers piled up? Are there files everywhere? Notes and pens littered across the surfaces? Working surrounded by mess limits your productivity and only serves to increase your stress levels. By simply eliminating unnecessary items, clearing the surfaces, and keeping items in your space to a minimum, you can free up your time and your mind to handle tasks in a more efficient way. However, the clutter doesn't always have to be physical. Take a closer look at your calendar. Do you have commitments that are snapping your energy and adding no value to your life? Then it's time to consider dropping those activities so that you can focus on the things that are more important and productive. If you work for yourself, you can exercise that greater freedom to get rid of clients who are a drain on your energy. Adopt minimalist working practices by making a few simple changes that will make a huge difference to your functional work life. At the end of each workday, transfer your saved items to a cloud storage space. Shut down all your tabs and move all your unwanted emails into the trash and empty it. All these things are minor and will take seconds to achieve, but will make a big difference both in the smooth running of your working operation and the clearness of your mind. In this video, we'll talk about how to manage minimalism in your personal life. When your home has been decluttered and reorganized into a minimalistic zone, and your working life has been simplified so that you can be as productive as possible in the workplace, it's time to take a closer look at your personal life. In many ways, decluttering your personal life is one of the most important aspects of implementing a minimalistic approach. It isn't enough to eliminate only physical clutter. You must look at other areas of your life which need some attention to bring them in alignment with your new principles. So, where do you begin when it comes to bringing your personal life in line with the concept of minimalism? You can start with the way that you approach your everyday living. What do you wear? What do you eat? What do you do? These things can all be adapted to match your newfound minimalist principles. Pare down your closet. Look at your wardrobe. Most of us have far too many clothes. If you rifle through your clothing now, you'll almost certainly find several items that you've never worn, as well as several outfits which you haven't put on for years. There's no point in hanging on to things which you won't wear. Be tough on yourself. If you haven't worn it for a year, it has to go. If you're finding it difficult to determine which outfits to eliminate, you can try this clever technique. Hang all your clothes in your closet with the hangers facing towards you. When you've worn the item and are ready to replace it in the closet, hang it with the hanger facing away from you. At the end of the year, You can see at a glance which clothes haven't been worn in the past 12 months. You can then get rid of all those items with a clear conscience. A capsule wardrobe is the ideal solution. With a few simple key pieces, you can put together an outfit suitable for every occasion without having to invest in countless items. Anything which doesn't fit into your new capsule collection can be given to charity, given to friends, or even recycled. For example, you can cut old t-shirts into strips to make rugs or bags. Rethink your diet. When you're taking a closer look at your personal life, you should consider your diet. Many of us buy all kinds of exotic foods as we give in to pressure from the media and marketeers telling us that we ought to be experimenting with the latest products. Yet many of these processed items are full of unwanted ingredients and chemicals which could be bad for your health. They're also very expensive. You can eliminate this problem by opting for a more minimalistic diet. By choosing whole foods rather than processed ones, you can enjoy better overall health as well as a healthier bank balance. A minimalist diet is also easy to prepare. Many of us tend to eat the same things on a regular basis anyway. Do you eat the same cereal every morning for breakfast? Do you have the same sandwich every lunchtime? Are there a handful of evening meals that you prepare repeatedly? This isn't something to be ashamed of. Embrace it! The media and advertisers pressure us into feeling as though our regular diet is dull and boring. However, if you acknowledge which foods you prepare to eat and plan your weekly menu accordingly, you can eliminate a lot of clutter from your kitchen cabinets and a lot of pressure from your mind. If you've ever worried about what you're going to prepare for dinner after a long day at work, you're sure to be relieved by the idea of knowing exactly what you'll be eating every day of the week without any uncertainty or complex thought processes. Overhaul your finances. Another area of your personal life that could benefit from a minimalistic overhaul is your financial well-being. Living up to the demands of the 21st century living can be expensive, so it isn't too surprising that most of us are in debt. Reflecting upon your triggers and identifying beliefs that are standing in your way. If you could follow an anxious mind, you might see patterns of unfavorable thoughts that keep playing on and off. These thoughts might be triggers to anxiety itself, and so addressing them is very important. While these are parts of the essential trappings of modern life, they only serve to contribute the clutter which piles up on our shoulders. Debt is a burden on the mind which prevents you from living your best life and enjoying yourself to the full. When you need to think about paying these increasing bills, your stress levels rise and your mind becomes more occupied. As a result, you can't truly be present in your own life or in the lives of those around you who are most important to your well-being. Work towards becoming debt-free in order to pursue a true minimalistic lifestyle. By eradicating your debt and preventing more from accruing, you can enjoy complete peace of mind. Without a credit card, loan, or overdraft, you may not be able to afford new things. However, with a minimalistic lifestyle, that isn't a problem. You don't need to add that extra pressure to your life. If you can't afford something, you can't buy it. You'll be surprised by how often you realize that you can live without something that you believe was essential when you no longer have the means to purchase it. Consider your approach to technology. Consider your overall approach to technology. The way in which you relate to the digital world can have a major impact on your overall well-being. So eliminating digital elements from your lifestyle could be the minimalistic move you need to make to improve your life. Do you have a TV? The answer is probably yes. Do you have a TV in every room? Again, the answer is most likely to be in the affirmative. Think again about whether you really need so much access to technology. Wouldn't just one TV set be enough for the whole house? Without a TV in your bedroom, you can enjoy a calmer and healthier sleeping environment. Without TVs in your kids' bedroom, you can all enjoy more quality family time together. The benefits are easy to see. What about your phone time? Do you seem to have your smartphone permanently glued to your hand? Here in the 21st century, we tend to believe that we always need to stay connected. However, This is not actually the case. If you try to minimize the length of time you spend using your cell phone, you'll probably be surprised by how long you can go without it before feeling any negative effects. Try to implement a regime of set time ranges within which to use your phone. Outside those time slots, physically turn your notifications off and either switch off your phone or put it into airplane mode. This will help you to focus more of your time and energy on the people in the real world around you who matter most, and to enjoy more positive relationships with friends and family members. Social media is another element of digital clutter, which can be addressed by a minimalist lifestyle. If your social media feed is full of dull posts and messages from people who add no value to your life, it's time to start a cull of your followers and friends. Keep your friends list to only those people who make your life more interesting, more valuable, and more fun. While considering social media, delete any platforms you no longer use. You might want to try coming off all social media for a week or so to see whether it makes a difference to your life. You'll almost certainly be surprised by how well you can cope without it, and you're sure to find better ways to fill all the time that you'll save when you're not checking up on posts and messages.